on YouTube or on Twitter. We're streaming on the other one, sending data, waiting. Come on, YouTube. We're gonna give a little bit of chance here for it to catch up. Hopefully, it will go to. There it goes. Now it says streaming. Is it actually going, people? I don't know. Well, maybe we're not on YouTube. This is gonna piss me off so much. We'll just give it a little bit more time, folks. Let's see who else is in the chat. What did the Rothschilds do this? The white man always trying to keep a good podcast down. Yeah, he is. It says streaming. I don't understand at all. Let me try one other useless motherfucker. This is not the way it is supposed to go, folks. Content. Let's go over here live. And now it's fucking with the wrong name, everything, the wrong banner. But it is. It's okay. So it looks like there we go. Okay, now I'm gonna have to post this in the other chat. Go to that one, and now the chat's gonna be all fucked up. This is beyond horrible. Let's see. Can I go from this one? No, I don't think I could do that. All right. Well, let's give some people. Let's hopefully they'll come over here a little bit. Let's give them a little bit of time. We'll just sit here, and damn it, this is not how I wanted things to go. So we'll wait for people to come on over, and at that point. Hang on. Now I need the chat over there. Let's open this chat. Let's pop this one out. All right, we got that channel popped out. That's hopefully that's just learning that YouTube's delay is several seconds more than Twitter's. Yeah, sorry, Alan. I posted it. It's supposed to go out to all these channels. I even pre-programmed, and then something happened. I'm using Restream with OBS, and sometimes it just doesn't work out there. So. Let's get in here. There's Rumble, there's YouTube, or there's Twitter. Everything's out there. So Northside said, with Aaron in the clear, what would you charge to write a letter to the DOJ requesting that Requeta be charged with federal or international cuckoldry, whichever is more appropriate? I'd charge a pretty penny for that. This service interruption is due to pending Misfit Patriot lawsuit. I am curious. Maybe that is the case. Okay, maybe so. And it gives the wrong thing. This is all a fucking mess here. All right. Well. Okay. So let's get back into what I wanted to play. So yeah, Misfit Patriot. This is a guy we're gonna have to walk our way through. A few different things, and if you don't know who he is, let's start off with this guy. He did a debate with Jay Dyer not too long ago, and that debate, he was going to debate, is Christian Zionism biblical? Misfit Patriot versus Jay Dyer and the End Times Call-ins. Now, I'm not a biblical scholar, so I would never have this argument, okay? I just believe that it's a stupid thing for a Christian to go on about. But, you can love people all around the world, but it means you need to love Israel more than like Palestinians if you're a Christian, and maybe more than Christianity or something. None of it makes sense to me at all. But they're going to have this debate. So I'm like, oh, sweet. I would love to hear just what I feel and I believe, which is, you're a Christian. You don't have to go hog wild with Zionism. I want to hear what Jay Dyer is going to say in response. So then you get this guy on there, this misfit. Now, he's Misfit Patriot. So the fit's a little, maybe the fit is silent. So we'll just call him Miss Patriot. I don't want to confuse him with anything about just Miss Patriot. The fit's still there. It's just silent. It's a silent F-I-T. So Miss Patriot and Jay Dyer. And this is kind of how it started.
Well, applies. The Abrahamic covenant is forever, as stated. I believe a few different times. I think Psalms 105, if I'm remembering correctly. There's Deuteronomy. There's Zechariah. There's a few others. And for the record, if you're expecting a theological scholar, a religious scholar here with me, that's not me. I don't have all of the knowledge of some of the other people, but I have done enough debate back and forth on this topic where I have sort of revisited all of these areas, and I just sort of argue the point from being a Catholic who grew up just Sunday school, went to see the Pope in Italy, and then I just sort of always was a sort of a non-practicing Christian. And a few years ago, I got back into it, and I'm trying to do my best to actually read the Bible again. And yeah, that's where I'm coming from, man. I'm just coming from a place of I don't understand how people are ignoring the one part of the Bible that is very clear. God is omnipotent. He made a covenant with the Jewish people. That covenant is forever. And anybody that's...
So, like, a covenant is an agreement of some sort, like a contract. Do you believe that a covenant can be broken? Maybe we should look that up, okay? So he's saying it's forever. I get it, but can you just do whatever you want with an agreement with God, and then it doesn't matter? That doesn't make sense to me. But it does remind me of when you see these. My wife was watching this show, and it's I don't know, housewives, Mormon housewives of Utah. It was something like that, and it's despicable. But they're talking about soaking the other day, and then bounce humping, where you're soaking and then someone's jumping on the thing, and I'm like, it's their way to try to trick God, right? That's all it is. And it reminds me of the guy, you see these videos where he's like, look, I put my refrigerator on Shabbat mode, and then when I close the door, the light never goes off. It's always on. And I'm like, yeah, but the electricity is still going throughout the house, motherfucker. If you want to be right, go over and pull the power lever for all your power in the house. Okay, cut it completely, and then maybe they're trying to trick God. That's what it is. They're trying to trick God. So it's just all a joke to me. I mean, to them, to me, to how they, and it seems like he's also thinking that too. Like, they had this covenant. Now they turned away. They didn't accept Jesus Christ, but they're still in I don't know. But once again, I don't know, and I would love to hear Jay talk about all these things.
Going against that, I feel, is going against God, is not actually being a true follower of Christ. But that's it, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could give an opening statement. I'm happy to do that, but maybe that's a perfect place to start it off, because, the Abrahamic covenant is explained and exegeted multiple times in the New Testament as to what it's referring to, how it's fulfilled, and how it's kept. So Genesis 12, 15, 17, 22 are all the statements in reference to Abraham from God. And in all of those, we have this promise that all the nations will be blessed in his seed. So the fulfillment of the Abrahamic covenant is not to the flesh nation state of Israel. It is to the person of Christ, and the nation state of Israel's job was to produce that person. That's why Galatians 3, Romans 4, Jesus in John 5 through 9, when he debates the Pharisees over and over, particularly John 8, explicitly states that the only way to be Abraham's seed is to be in the seed, whom Paul identifies in Galatians 3 and 4 as the person of Christ.
Okay, so once again, he what he's saying there is the individual, which I think you can all understand. Miss Patriot is saying it's the identity, it's the group identity. Okay, so now this is where we're having all these problems. And anyway, I don't need to get into it. They can have this discussion. I'm just pointing out, here's a debate. This is where he first came on my radar. Just a few weeks ago. This was, does it even say 3 weeks ago? Okay.
So your mistake is to think that there's some sort of dual covenant that Jews have separate from Christ, when Paul says in 2 Corinthians 1 that all the promises are in Christ. That's all the covenant promises. They are yea in him. That would include Mosaic, that would include Noahic, and that would include Abrahamic. So there is no such thing as a separate promise to a nation of the Jews that is not a reference to the person of Christ first and foremost.
Which makes sense to me.
Well, how do you explain Romans 11:2, where John, I believe it was, reiterates that the Jews... No,
Paul wrote Romans, not John.
Paul. Again, you're not going to get a religious scholar here, so if I mess up...
Then why are you doing a debate? I'm sorry, I would never go on a show like this. And this actually sets up the whole issue that we're going to talk about, and how he came to the fore. It was first this, and it was embarrassing because I wanted to see a debate between two people that actually could come. But I don't think, excuse me, I don't think you have someone on his side that can actually do this debate, right? Because it sounds like to me it's just not plausible. You have to twist yourself in a pretzel of some sort. Maybe for him it's just a donut. Sorry, Miss Patriot.
Well, but you were talking big game on Twitter that you were going to shut me down and spank.
Yeah, no, listen, man, I'm here to debate you, and I will admit when I have strengths. I will let you know if I have certain weaknesses. But if you wanted a theological debate, you brought on the wrong person. That's why you probably should have looked at many of my posts where I say I'm not a religious scholar. I'm arguing based off of the text that I can get in front of me in a Twitter feed. So somebody says something, I can go look it up, I can read it and
a troll
interpret
debate.
it, and then go off of my own personal experience in the Bible studies that I have.
So the remnant that Paul's talking about in Romans 11 is written to a church that's having squabbles within itself at Rome between Jews and Gentiles. The remnant that God has preserved are the believing Jews who are the believers in Christ. The original foundation stones of the church, the 12 apostles, the several thousand that are converted at the beginning of the book of Acts, those are all Jews. The church is a Jewish grounded and founded institution. But Jesus predicts in Matthew 21 that the Jews, as the vine dressers who failed at their mission, will have the kingdom taken from them and given to another people producing the fruits thereof. That does not mean there's never Jewish converts to the church, but the largely Jewish church will become the largely Gentile church, fulfilling the dozens and dozens and dozens of prophecies. I'm just citing you the verses, all of these verses.
Yeah, you're citing me verses that you're cherry picking and then telling me to.
No, I'm not cherry picking. I just cited you. I said there's dozens
saying.
of verses.
By the way, and the reason just hang with me, folks, because it's somewhat interesting and it's short, which is he just said, I'm not a biblical scholar. He being misfit. Said, I'm not, sorry, my bad. Miss Patriot. Miss Patriot said, I'm not a biblical scholar. I'm just coming up with stuff that you would have, flash out there on Twitter. That's literally what he said. And now Jay's like, well, XYZ, bum, bum, bum. This is the actual text. Here's the meaning of him. He's like, hey, why are you cherry picking? He's like, I'm not, you just were cherry picking anyway,
to talk about a Gentile church.
And I have verses where I'm, like I said, I have verses.
And I'm saying that those verses explain what that church is, what that seed fulfillment is. So you're literally just ignoring everything that I presented.
Yeah, because again, you're trying to give me this long, exhaustive list of, and you're telling me to take your word for it. But I'm not telling.
We can go to all the passages. I listed you multiple passages.
Okay.
And that's this guy. This is horrible, right? This is a horrible debate because he first brings up some quotes, text that he has, Romans 12 or whatever he says. So then Jay goes and explains it, and then he's like, "Well, what? You're gonna just throw stuff at me? I can't verify." It's like, you have a Bible too. I don't know what the Bible is, but
look,
Schofield.
I will concede that, I guess, and we'll just see if you can answer this question. Jesus was a Jew, right?
Jay,
Jesus.
That's a huge thing of water there. This reminds me of Andrew. I don't know if you guys were back in the day where he
was a ethnical and religious Jew, practiced as a Jew, died as a Jew, right? And Christians follow a Jew. Okay, so the first Christians were Jews, like you just said, correct?
Sure.
And Messianic Jews, if you want to say. Okay, those people you're saying are what? No, they're okay. They get into the kingdom of heaven. The Jews that don't believe that Jesus is the Messiah, they're, from what I understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, they believe that the Messiah will come. But I believe it's stated. I actually did take this one note down.
Oh, he's got some
references.
references.
Mind me pulling up a note. Right here. The Antichrist will intervene and guarantee.
So we're just going to
1,000-year kingdom on earth.
Keep going.
The nation of Israel has a covenant. It doesn't follow from that it's man-made, because that's a Protestant
it wasn't
term.
made until after Jesus died, dude. I don't know what the fuck you want. You're telling me
The
that
church
something was made.
Listen. You have to. Are you trolling?
opening.
But you don't even know the
statement.
basics. Why did you think it would be a good idea to debate?
You asked me to come on. I'm here.
No,
So-
you talked smack and said you were going to put me in my place.
Well, so far you're doing that by yourself, sir.
Putting you in your place? Yeah.
No, you're putting you in your place. You're fucking. You fucking. You're
All right,
so.
you're a complete clown. This is
Okay,
this is-
cool.
this
Oh,
is-
cool. Oh.
We're done. All right.
He kicked them off. So a 2-hour stream, he lasted 19 minutes, and they were done. Okay, I actually wanted to watch a debate on this. Okay, I'm gonna see if we have an issue with the. Let's keep going here. Okay. Uh-oh. Where's my? Let's try this one again. Okay, so it looks like okay. Motherfucker. So we have a chat over here that's just not displaying at all. So I'll try to bring it over here so we can at least see what's going on here. JC's in there. Sorry guys, everyone. So anyway, that's Misfit. That's Misfit. Sorry, that's Miss Patriot. Okay, and she. What I don't know what's going on there. So he did that debate and it didn't go well. Okay, so from there. Then he went on Piers Morgan this last, I think it was this last week, and he got a chance to debate about Andrew Tate. Okay, the whole situation with Andrew Tate. Okay, you guys don't know, Andrew Tate comes over to the U.S. Ron DeSantis says we don't want him, but he's a U.S. citizen. We talked about that a little bit. He ends up coming over. He goes in Candace. And there's all this stuff. Then they actually raid him, and Tate's Tate, so he's bombastic about everything. So, in the Tower Gang production chat, Clint Russell sends a message. He's like, "Dude, I just got asked to go on Piers Morgan to debate. Basically take the side of Andrew Tate on Piers Morgan." And so we're like, "Oh, funny." And he goes, "I'm turning this down." He goes, "I don't know enough about this, and I'm definitely not going to go on there and defend Andrew Tate's," because he wanted them to defend Andrew Tate's like salaciousness or whatnot. So he's like, "I'm not going on there." So I said no, and then what we found out was, and so Clint posts something about that, and this Misfit Patriot, I'm gonna have trouble, Miss Patriot. Then replies to that. Now, let's play a few clips of the actual the actual thing. So he doesn't actually do a bad job, at least the little bit of clips that I've seen of him on Piers Morgan. But evidently, it got a lot of the Tate haters, and so he calls them taters, really coming after him. Okay, so keep that in context. Now, what's most fascinating, the reason I want to play this is because remember, you got Alan Dershowitz down here. You got this chick that was just, I don't know, I don't care about any of these chicks and Piers Morgan and whatnot. We're just talking about this guy. So Miss Patriot and Alan Dershowitz. Now, Alan Dershowitz, very highly accomplished, renowned civil rights attorney, constitutional attorney, teaches at Harvard. Also alleged on the Epstein flight logs, and has said, "Oh, I got rubbed down, but I kept my underwear on." Okay, so he, our buddy, kept his undies on, and so we really shouldn't worry about him. Now, that's what I want to play here, which is keep that thought in mind. Watch Alan Dershowitz as this guy, Miss Patriot, talks.
And putting aside the allegations against him of a much more serious nature, sex trafficking and so on, the constant misogyny pumped out to millions of his followers, and in particular impressionable young men, boys, I think is very damaging. What's your view of the Tates?
Well, I think that people are conflating two different things, all right? They think that the reason why certain people presume that the Tates are guilty is because of things that they said, right? Like you said, some of the things that he said are reprehensible. I don't care what he said. I care what he did. It's important to remember that a lot of the evidence that's put forth against Andrew Tate was uploaded by Andrew Tate. There is a video of him slapping around a girl whose age has been verified through court documents to be 15 years old, all right? I mean, there's no presumption of innocence when I can see it, okay? And you're talking about, again, the court of public.
Well, there always is a presumption of innocence. You don't know. Do you see him slapping someone around? You don't know if that girl was threatening his life, and he had to do that to defend himself. You never know. You never know. So anyway, just because you said it, I don't know.
Opinion versus the court of law. We want him to have.
With that said, Nick Rekieta totally guilty.
Due process, but innocent until proven guilty doesn't mean that you are innocent. It just means that you have to go through the process, which they are doing. The court cases in Romania, if similar to the UK, could take 4 to 6 years based on the
Remember, he was saying, this is an underage girl. We verified it. And Dershowitz is like, oh, yeah, sounds good.
average sexual assault case in that country. So the people that are saying, oh, if he was guilty, he would already be in jail. No, I mean, this process takes a very long time. Even in the US, it can take years. So the fact that it's been just under 3 years and he hasn't been found guilty yet does not mean he's innocent. We're being told that he's innocent because he hasn't been proven guilty. Wrong. If I see somebody doing something on camera and I can verify that the thing that they are doing is illegal, I am going to say that that person committed a crime.
Okay, but that's not how it works. And you might be held liable for slander, right? So because you're saying, oh, he's guilty of a crime. Okay, he hasn't been adjudicated. So why don't you at least parse your words a little bit more? Because words are important at the time. I know. I drink a little bit, and sometimes I get in here a little sloppy. So, by the way, if you guys really want to be able to have your chats and everything notified and be able to pull them up here, is Tate in here now? Is Tate here now? How many illegal Muslim immigrants do we have to take? He says Northside. And if you want that, maybe just today, because the YouTube chat isn't coming in here, just go over to Rumble or go over to X. Find me over there. If you just click on Tyler Yonke, you'll see a little lit up, and you'll be able to see that we're broadcasting there. And you could I'll at least be able to see your chats, because I don't know what happened here. Ron says Tate is a pube-headed degenerate. Doesn't mean he's guilty, but it's a fact. I totally agree. Matter of fact, when I first saw him on It's Your Mom's House or whatever, Your Mom's House, Cole had sent us a link for, and he had the sunglasses on. I'm like, I put him and Beetlejuice with sunglasses side by side, and I'm like, it's the same. It's the difference is the sunglasses. That's the only difference you have here. Andrews Tate, says Hubbleson, over on YouTube, which we're not be able to say. Okay, let's keep. Please,
so we're being gaslit by the people that support Andrew Tate.
Well, also,
and,
I mean, and also,
but you come on. I mean, look, I'm just in a makeshift podcast room. I've got a door behind me. Look at his room. It's a little bit too much. You've got all the neon lights behind, under the counter. Does he have a Breville coffee maker? That motherfucker. I've got one of those. The things under the TV. It's such a I'm not married type of situation. But I mean,
I think you're a MAGA. You identify as MAGA. Is that correct?
Correct.
Right. So.
Once again, this guy and look, you're like, Tyler, you're a libertarian. Okay, I am, but is that what I identify as? No. I mean, I happen to have a legal structure or philosophy. MAGA is how I identify.
What's really interesting to me about all this is also the politics, which is you have the Republican movement in America.
Okay, I'm going to stop on that one. We're going to go to the next one.
The day before. So when Andrew Tate came to Florida stating, where are the victims? Where are the victims? 4 out of the 7 victims in the Romanian case have not recanted their statements. All right, this victim in Florida just reaffirmed her statement to the Romanian authorities. Secondly, you talk about hiding in states that are friendly to him, which he probably assumed was a Florida one. I believe that it's the Protect Act of 2003. Section 105 makes it a federal.
Okay, so one, he's not an attorney, so perfectly fine. You can spout stuff off. This makes me think, and I'm just guessing here, that he's done time or he had a criminal, something against him. That's all because someone that knows how to look up cases, you're either an attorney or maybe you're delving into that. The way he looks stuff up, just the stuff we saw with Jay Dyer and this, it's someone who had to go into the legal process either on his own or he did have counsel, and he was like, I got to start looking shit up. And because we're going to talk a little bit more about something later. So he looks up some sort of act.
Crime to have sex with any persons under the age of 18 abroad. It's basically a sex tourism law. It's applied to a lot of people who go to Thailand and come back, and then they get arrested.
Alan Dershowitz is like, yeah, that's watch this. I'll just back this up just a few seconds here. Watch Dershowitz. He
with
got
any persons under the age of 18 abroad. It's basically a sex tourism law. It's applied to a lot of people who go to Thailand and come back, and then they get arrested here. As far as Trump and the Trump administration assisting him, the Romanian authorities have come out and said that that's actually not true. That's a rumor, and it's based off of the fact that Rick Grinnell said that he supports the Tate as per his publicly available.
He supports the Tate. How about the taint?
Tweets. It's a very bad optics look for Alina Habba to be on Benny Johnson's podcast with him saying she's a big fan.
Look, I don't really give a shit about any of this stuff. I'm not and this is significant because he comes out here, he's on Piers, he's definitely against Andrew Tate, no big deal. But when you do that, you're going to get some hate, right? You're going to get some Tate hate, as he calls them, taters, okay? Do we have another pork lamp on our hands with misfit. I don't know what that means. I'm not always in the know on everything, people. Am I missing something with mispatriot? I don't know. Okay, so with that in mind, he didn't do. I don't think he does a bad job. He knows the topic. He dove into it quite well. So he knew a lot about that, and he's able to go on Piers Morgan, not make a total ass of himself. However, I guess after this, there was a big issue where people are coming after him. And by the way, I just thought I'd throw this on here. This was Tom Homan. I played it on the beginning. Some of you on Rumble or on YouTube didn't get it. Excuse me, didn't get to hear it. But he talks about fire in a crowded theater. When are we going to deport these people who think that Schenck v. U.S. is still actual law? It's not. It's not. It was overturned in 1969. I'm trying to remember the case that they overturned it, but it's not case law anymore. Okay, it's been overturned. Fire in a crowded theater, not a thing. So stop saying. Let's play this a little.
Charge under Secretary of State. We can serve a national security threat. When you're on campus and they say, and I hear freedom of speech, freedom of speech, freedom of speech.
National security threat, someone on campus. Now, you also said Epstein was a national security threat. Everything points to one nation that's a national security threat. Why is that?
Can you stay in a movie theater and yell fire?
Yes, you can. You can do that. The theater owner might have an issue with it, and he might have problems with it, but it's not. Fire in a crowded theater is not a it's not a Supreme Court ruling anymore.
Can you slander?
Yes, you can slander.
Somebody's burglary?
Yes, you can. It may be a civil issue, but it's not a criminal issue. You're not going to jail for slander. Why? Because you have freedom of speech. Okay? Fuck these people. I'm sick of it, right? And the MAGAs, the mispatriots, all these losers are coming out and they're all worked up. They're getting their panties in a bunch. We'll go through the guy at the Columbia University. First of all, it's Columbia University. Once again, you're talking about Columbia University, Ivy League. You're talking about Harvard, Ivy League. I don't give a shit about these people, okay? These are overprivileged, pampered kids in general, and there's a ton of, federal money that goes into these schools. I don't care about them. Stop it, okay? And you're like, oh, you don't care about the Jews? No, I don't care about the kids at Columbia, one side or another. I just don't. I'm more concerned about my kids, community college and local schools and local colleges. And the fact that you are getting worked up about it is exactly the problem, okay? And it's only because, I think the Republicans finally get an issue where they get a pushback, right? But it's going to come back to haunt them at some point. Candace Owens did a great job this week talking about how this whole issue is going to come back where you have a green card. And what if you have a green card person that comes out there in favor of Trump? Matter of fact, she said, how come, because it was Greenwald. He's like, wait, so why isn't Jordan Peterson being deported? He's come out and had a completely political points of view, and I think they're wrong. Matter of fact, he's like, burn it down. I don't know if he said that. I think he probably did with the Jewish stuff over in Gaza. So if you're advocating for that, I mean, you're genocide. What's the difference? There's a lot of that. Oh my God, Tyler, calm down. A pork menorah. Okay, I get it. Let him cook. Go harder, Tyler. That's what Andy says too. It is exactly. Alan says, and I don't know why there's such small up on the screen there. That's what she said. This is why public schools spent generations teaching constitutional rights rather than natural rights. These people don't consider the 1A or any of them restrictions on any government, and they consider all your rights to be conditional. Absolutely. And by the way, I was on Alan's show this last week, so go check that out. I think I did an okay job. No, it's always tough on Alan's show. I'll just say that. It's always tough on Alan's show, and I'm not going to get into details as to why, but I think I did a pretty good job. And by the way, I absolutely love going on his show. The conversation is great there. Makes me feel comfortable. So good stuff. So go check out Alan's show. I was on there. He did like 3 hours, so you got to find it in the middle somewhere. Northside says, we are at war with Canada, trade war. Deport and incarcerate all Canucks now. Tyler was one of the guests of all time. Yes, and now I didn't talk about Star Wars and stuff like your buddy, Scott Horton. But anyway, okay. So I just thought I would play that real quick because it does tie into a little bit further here, which is Misfit Patriot is really, once again, he's a big supporter of the Jews. I would like to put out to everybody, if you don't know, and I started watching this again last night. I did, because our friend Scott, and by the way, I should probably look over. JC, Tyler was on LPR. Alan Mosley's show, Entire Gang, the hardest working man in podcasting. Yeah, I don't know. I joined to hear Entire Gang harassment. No, you haven't missed it, Laney. By the way, I'm having trouble having the comments from YouTube go over to be able to display here. So if you want to check me out on Rumble or X, take your time over there. I played a little bit of Miss Patriot's rant, his preliminary debate on with Jay Dyer. Then you saw him on Piers Morgan, perfectly fine. So let's get into, see if I can find see if I have the one with Clint Russell. So Clint Russell posts up a comment here about Miss Patriot, well, actually about his time going on, and this is what spurned it. We're doing Tower Gang, and we're starting to talk. I think it was in the post show, and Clint starts talking about it. So we bring up the post of Clint basically saying, I'm not going on this show. And this guy comes in and makes it stink about it, Miss Patriot. So we start rating his show. I'm doing the producing. I've got nothing to do with it. But he starts making a big problem. And the Tower Gang people raid his show on Rumble, and he actually has a conniption about it. Okay, so with that in mind, I think, let's see if I can find actually... whoops, I don't want that one. He does a video, and we will play that video. Just hang on a second here, folks. I've gotten all these. This isn't helping here. Okay, let's play the video. Let's play the video because he does a little bit of a breakdown of it. Okay, and by the way, so with that in mind, the ADL, by the way, has this whole thing with Leo Frank. If you don't know about Leo Frank, I did a complete 4-part series on it. I did 1 solo, 3 with Pete Quinones, where we broke down. I've read all the pleadings. I've read all the appeals, 13 appeals. This is a 1913 case of this Jewish man in Georgia that ends up killing this 13-year-old Mary Fagan and sexually assaults her, okay? He then tries to pin it on a black guy. Now, there's 2 black guys involved. He tries to pin it on the night watchman first. And the guy that was actually, there's only 2 that could possibly be, which is this guy, Conley and Leo Frank. Later, the night watchman, Newt, I'm trying to remember his name is, he gets exonerated. So it's not an issue, but it's between these 2. And the reason it is because this guy, Conley, says, look, I helped take her body down to the bottom floor. I was supposed to burn it. He gave me money. He was going to give me money to do it. And then he took the money back and said, I'll give it to you later. Very Jewish thing to do. The fact that he was too cheap to actually pay the guy to go burn the body immediately probably went to be a problem. Now, Leo Frank never points the finger at Conley for like 3 weeks when he's under investigation. Okay, it doesn't happen. He doesn't point it out, and because those 2 were in cahoots. Conley would come there, watch for him. He would diddle girls and do whatever, and then he would tap his foot with someone was coming. He'd shut the door, and he was his watcher. He was his lookout guy. Okay, so he wasn't pointing the finger at him. He was trying to point it to this night watchman who had nothing to do with it. It was perfectly out of the picture. But he didn't point it at Conley, who could have been fingered at the time, because they were in cahoots and he had been paying him and they were doing other things. So then when Conley's finally like, look, man, he had been in prison for being held there. He's like, I got to come clean. And he told his side of the story, which means he had something to do with it. You either, because he admitted to taking the body down there and helping the body. So you had something to do with it, or you were covering up for someone else. Like he was covering up for someone else, covering for Leo Frank. So he ended up testifying in Georgia, 1913, for 3-week trial or so. First time a black man had been able to testify in court, and they went after him. The N-word was used constantly. If you look at the transcript, it's over and over and over. Dirty nigger and stuff like that. It's pretty horrendous. Nothing was said at all about Leo Frank being a Jew. Okay, there was even a Jew on the grand jury. I don't think there was one on the actual jury, but when they indicted him to go to trial, there was. Then they got huge attention. Because why? Because he's the head of this B'nai B'rith. It's this group, this Jewish group in Georgia. And that's where the ADL comes out from this 1913. Okay. Now they had started in Chicago a few months earlier, but then it kind of squeaked over to there. So it was connected. Now this got so much attention. Okay. It got so much attention that, in the overall world, the New York, the Chicago, matter of fact, the head of the New York Times, Aldous Ox, he put a ton of money into this thing. One of the head the advertisers at the time, I'm trying to remember his name, but he was in Chicago. He's kind of like the granddaddy of modern advertising. He put, hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's like millions and millions in today's time. They then came up with this whole idea that he wasn't guilty, and it was, because he was a Jew, that he got convicted. And they do appeals up to the Superior Court, up to the Supreme Court of Georgia. It goes all the way up. It's back and forth. Lots of stuff. What's fascinating about this is in 1913, they're doing all these pleadings. Everything has been kept because it was such a famous case, and everything has been uploaded. So you can go read all this stuff, which is all the transcripts, by the way, all the testimony. Just to give you a legal spit here, because, people are, hey, Tyler, you're an attorney. Let's talk some legal stuff. Okay. Tyler's lying. He started the beef with Miss Patriot. I don't think that's true at all. I did actually. I made a comment to him a few weeks ago. But anyway, Leo Frank, once again, all this stuff gets uploaded. You can read all the transcripts. And there was nothing in there about him being a Jew at all. Matter of fact, he in his party had slandered the other side, talking about Christians being dogs or something like this. So that was the only reference to religion actually in the thing at all. But, he's considered a white man, even though he's a Jew. It is really creepy. Matter of fact, all these backers said they were really creeped out about him, okay? He gets convicted. He's supposed to hang. It happened, pushes it off for 2 years. All these appeals, goes up to the Supreme Court, nothing happens. Then they get a special inquiry from the governor who does this basically a sham trial for like 3 or 4 days. And he talks to everybody, and he commutes the sentence from death to just life in prison. Okay. So then this Leo Frank gets moved around to different prisons. Now, just to saying, the governor was actually a law partner with Leo Frank's attorney. So there's you're like, wait, what? Yes. And then he got all these, there were people that were trying to influence this whole situation, and they gave millions of dollars to the state of Georgia. They also wanted him to be a presidential nominee with Wilson. Okay. And then maybe Supreme Court justice. So there was all kinds of weirdness. And then he commutes the sentence. The people got pissed about this. They break in, they do like an A-team style break into the prison. They take Leo Frank out, and they lynch him and string him up. No one that did that was ever prosecuted. Okay. So they're like, hey, should have been done. Now, the ADL, they push all this stuff, and they say, hey, he's been pardoned in 1990s or so, he was pardoned. Well, what happened was the ADL pushes this pardon. It's posthumous pardon. You should never be able to be pardoned. Once you're dead, you don't get a pardon. It's just like you can't get a divorce after you've been dead as well. So, and matter of fact, you look at the case law and everything about this, it's right on there. It shouldn't have happened, but the Board of Pardons did pardon him posthumously because not for anything to do with his guilt, but due to the fact that they did not protect him when he was in prison, and therefore that, he didn't really get a chance to continue appeals or, actually ask for his sentence to be vacated or whatnot. Well, actually, he had already done that. The point is that they did that. So, and it's kind of like, oh, look, the ADL had really pushed for all this stuff. The dude was guilty. Now, out of this comes, they want to claim that out of this comes the KKK, the new KK from this group called the Knights of Mary Fagan. It doesn't look like it. If you ever want to, by the way, this is the best book on it. The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. It's the Leo Frank case, the lynching of a guilty man. The Nation of Islam put this together. But as far as research goes, this is one of the best books ever. And I only bring this up because Leo Frank, it's like the anniversary of his lynching. It's all coming back. People are talking about it again. You just had Andrew Klavan going online saying, there's a anti-Semitic people and you shouldn't argue with them, and you're basically talking about Candace Owens. And he says the claim that, they say all these crazy things like Leo Frank. And I'm like, wait a second. well, he says, first of all, they support Iran, and then they're, Leo Frank's guilty or something like this. And like, wait a second, this guy was a pedophile, child murderer, and you're trying to exonerate this. This is the best thing about all these documents having been uploaded. There's hundreds of thousands of pages. You could go through and you could read them all, and they're out there and they're available. That's why a lot of this book is being able to be written, as an example. There's multiple books, and I've read them there. You can go through there, and the only way you say that Leo Frank was guilty, railroaded because he was a Jew is if you don't read the stuff. Okay, the only way you say he's not guilty is if you don't read the stuff. If you read the stuff, you're like, oh. Matter of fact, the first thing I did was I read the commutation letter by the governor at the time, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe I've got this all wrong. And then I read through everything, and I'm like, never mind. Now, the governor said he should have been, he just didn't want him put to death. That's the only thing. He's still guilty. Okay, so you got all that. Okay. And the reason I bring that up is Leo Frank, I'm going to maybe go back and do a deep dive into some of just the court stuff. I did it with Pete Quinones, though. Go check that series out. It's fantastic. And kind of the reason I want to talk about this is you've got a guy like this, right? Where he's talking about, he's all concerned about you. When they raided his chat at the time, because he was doing a live show, he's like, oh, these are Tate fans. No, these aren't Tate fans. For one, you're just wrong. But I wonder, and he's so worked up about Tate, would you say Leo Frank is guilty or not? Likely someone like this, because he's so tied in with the Jewish side, he would have to say, oh, of course he's guilty, because that is the way you have to say it now with the ADL, or they're going to come after you. Fine, fuck you guys, come after me, I don't care. But this guy likely would say, I don't know if he would, but someone needs to put that question to him. And if so, then you just ignore everything else yet. Okay, so this is a video he puts out here with Misfit Patriot. Oh, wait. First of all, he says, let's see, that was March 12th. This was 6 hours ago. Here you go. Let's start with this one. I've seen, let me change this so you guys can all read that. There you go. If you've seen a couple posts that look odd, it's because I'm documenting what I believe to be retaliation after announcing my intent to sue Andrew Tate for defamatory statements he made about me online. First of all, if you sue for defamation, you have to have damages. What are your damages? I don't know if you make any money from the show, but when we rated, well, not me, when people rated the show that he was playing a clip of there, he had like 20, 30 viewers. We brought his views up to like 150, 170 or something like that. Hang on, I gotta do one thing. Just hang on a second. Just bear with me. Okay, I don't know. I had a charger there for that other camera. It's gone, so I don't know what the fuck happened to it. He had, so you have to have damages. What are your damages that you're going to sue for defamation for? You actually have, due to the Andrew Tate thing, you got yourself on Piers Morgan, okay? And you're getting more publicity. You're probably having your viewers go up. You're probably having everything because you're kind of a spotlight person. So you don't have damages, right? You've got a first show that you had, if you guys watched any two cases, big ones of defamation that we've had recently, Johnny Depp, they had people coming in testifying about loss of income from movies because of the things she said. They had to be able to prove that to get defamation, and that's why he got a big award. The award isn't so much you're liable for defamation. It can be like, there's ones like this too, where like, you said something defamatory and we're going to award you $1. So good luck with that. Right? It's just a nominal fee that you get for that. Now, the other one was Alex Jones. They had to show all, and now that was, default judgment. And I've talked about this before. Robert Barnes, piece of shit, maybe led them astray. But the whole trial wasn't about whether he defamed anybody. He got a judgment that he had been defamatory, that he was liable. Now it was about the damages. So the whole case that we got to see him testify before with Orange Schroyer and him were about the money that they made and what were the damages. So a Misfit Patriot, fine. I'm sorry. I keep saying Miss Patriot. Damages. What are your damages if you're going to go forward on defamation? It's been reported that people who go after the Tates experience harassment and intimidation. It's been reported. Okay, give me a break. And based on what I'm sure it can be with anybody. You go after Tower Gang, you're gonna reap the benefits there too. I'll start posting these to subscribers only. Okay, that's good. Keep your shit private, since it's not all over your timeline. But documenting this publicly does two things. It keeps all these actions against me in a chronological order in one place. Okay, so and it shows them that I will not be intimidated by anyone. Dude, I don't really care about intimidation. You're just a kind of a pussy here. We're going to see that in a bit. This video is a clear example of targeted harassment and cyber stalking, and I believe it is in direct response to the announcement of my legal case. It's absolutely not. We had no clue that you had a legal case going. Nor do we fucking care. You know, good luck with that. I don't care. Sue the Tates. You know, they're pieces of shit. No one in our group there really cared about it. There's a clear example of my legal case. Anyone who engages in this behavior toward me will be reported and may face legal action. Remember that. They will be reported and may face legal action. My name and reputation being smeared online is not something I take lightly. Well, it should. I mean, come on. So here's what the boys said. Here's the clip.
This will be
Oh, he's way fatter than I thought. That's funny.
He's on the show right now. Like, we should, how do we get, let's just raid them. How do I do that?
So far, nothing defamatory. I mean, he is fatter than Cole thought, you know, it's his opinion.
We can't raid into their stream. They have to let us.
No,
we can raid
on the
into
live
their
chat.
Yeah, we could totally do that.
Greg Bunga says, if Toad and Clint switched bodies and Clint could turn into Toad into its success before Toad manages to crash and burn everything, that I'm sorry, I read that wrong, but I don't.
We can do that right now. People in the chat, we have raided their stream, so I want you to go over there and
nigger drop a nigger in the chat, dude.
All right, so they throw a few bombs at there. Okay, so this guy so he posts a whole screed about this. Okay, and let me see if I can find the part. I'll put it here while I go into, because there were comments about it, and they were pretty stupid. Here we go. Oh, it's in the same one. I should have just kept it there. So I said, tell me you're representing yourself, please. And he's like, you'll find out soon enough who's representing me. And no, you won't. This is not anything I'm actually concerned about. He did post a screenshot of a penal code, that you know what cyber stalking is. But the problem with this is gang stalking, he calls it, and then cyber stalking. You're literally talking about someone who is not holding themselves out to the public. The problem is he's out there. He's putting himself online, and then you're engaging with him. Now he says you're stalking. I mean, come on. Nothing is a bigger pussy than that, right? Which is, I'm going to have a video. I'm going to put out and by the way, you can block people in your chat. But that's not good enough. He wants you to go to jail for that, or you can have legal consequences. And then he's going to say, I never said that. Okay, well, let's watch this video and let's just see how deranged this guy is.
Would have been
Okay, here we go.
So this kid's
Okay, first of all, this TikTok stuff. Fuck. Ian Carroll, I have problems with him, but he at least does it successfully. But it is such an oof. I'm just like, oh my God. You're a grown man. My daughter does better TikToks than this, okay?
pussy.
Daughters, I should say. Let me tune this down just a little bit because he's a little hot on his mic.
He just backed out of a debate that we had planned for Sunday. Let me give you the quick backstory, all right? So this is what he originally posted. Honored to get my first invite on Peers. Would have been a blast. The problem, they wanted me to debate some loser about the guilt or innocence of Andrew Tate. Of all the topics, really, this blah, 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 blah.
By the way, it is my understanding from my interaction with Clint, I told him Misfit Patriot was on there, and he thought, Miss Patriot was on there. I believe he thought this guy was going on there to replace him, not to debate him. So he was just saying some loser. Now this guy, he knows he's a loser, so that's why he's like, whoa, call me out. It's called Miss Patriot, not loser.
He's referring to me. So I was like, yeah, I would have destroyed.
Okay, so he acknowledges he's a loser. Okay, that's
you. Good job
fine.
Not showing up. And then this commenced, right? You just openly admitted to being afraid to debate me. Let's do it, right? And I was like, yeah, I accept. And then Josie.
That's not true. So a matter of fact, if he sees this down here, this is 313, 3 days until he, I think, accepted this one. So, because he's showing this screenshot now, he's doing this 3 days now, but he's like, didn't see Josie's, because behind the scenes, Josie tags me in there and she's like, you'll help with this, Tyler. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And then I'm contacting her. I'm like, when was this going to happen? She's like, he's not responding. I don't know. And now he's flipping out online. So he goes online and just starts a thread of just crazy shit. Okay. Now he's making this video after the fact as if he had accepted it right away. He didn't accept it right away. And, I wish you could, and we'll get to some of this a little bit here. Let's keep playing this.
He was going to be nice enough to host it. But I was just informed that he just backed out because I said I was going to sue him. I didn't, but okay. Let's see what he's talking about. Clint and a bunch of his retarded fucking friends are on this podcast called like Tower Gang or some shit. Now, if you don't know what a tower is, it's when a bunch of people get into like a Discord or a group chat or something, and then they do targeted harassment at other people on the internet. Now, does the targeted harassment against me bother me so much? Not really, but it is illegal in all 50.
Okay. Yes, you do. And by the way, it does have a difference if you're holding yourself out. If I'm just going and just starts emailing, because I've looked at the code here and I'm just emailing someone and I'm having, and literally says in there, you cause their phone to ring over and over and over, like at times they unwanted. That's not what it is. You don't have to be online, mister. Okay, you don't have to. You can delete people from your chat. That that gang stalking is not going to work. Why? Because you've held yourself out. It's like not vicarious. It's assumption of the risk. Okay. Yes, I can't just be out walking in the mall and some guy just runs up to me, tackles me, and throws me into the ground. Okay, that's assault and battery. It depends if I saw him whether it's assault or not, but it's definitely battery. Okay. However, if I'm playing football and I'm holding myself out to be tackled, and someone tackles me, at least within the rules of the game, it's not going to be a problem. This schmuck is online. You're provoking people. Matter of fact, after your thing with Jay Dyer, you're in there commenting about why don't you people go, whatever. And this guy is online all the time, by the way. Someone put in here, if you search his name, they're like, this dude is commenting about the same person all day, every day. Now, I would say that puts a precedent of you holding yourself out to getting comments back. You don't get to, unless you're a little namby-pamby girl, no offense to the namby-pamby girls, that I'm comparing you to Miss Patriot. If you're doing that and you're, someone, and you're not really doing anything and someone's coming at you, yes, it makes sense. But you're not doing that. You're actively going online talking about how Andrew Tate's a criminal and doing stuff. So it's going to happen. I don't know why you think it's not. You don't get to hide then behind some sort of stalking cyber crime
50
law.
states, all right? It's cyber stalking and harassment is illegal for a reason, guys, okay? But as you can see right here.
Once again, jailhouse snitch / I don't know if he's a snitch. I'm just saying that. He's coming across like that. Like a jailhouse guy that does his own briefs and he's writing his own criminal responses. Because, anyway, he has that feel to it, doesn't it?
This time they did it when they were talking about my lawsuit against Andrew Tate that I announced. I
announced. Is it ever going to happen? Dude,
intend to do. And they were like, who is this fat pussy? And then in the video, they say, go over to this guy's page and harass him.
No, it was your chat. You're saying you don't have an ability to have chat, right? Okay.
Spam is chat.
Yeah.
This is why a lot of people lose their check mark on X, by the way.
No, just raid them. How do I do that?
We can't raid into their stream. They have to let us.
No, on the live chat. Yeah, we can totally do that. We can do that right now. People in the chat, we have raided their stream, so
unbelievable.
I want you to go over there and
nigger drop a nigger in the chat, dude.
Say what you got to say. Get him to come over. This will be a little bit fun. This is
do like a nigger kike faggot tower. See if you can do it.
Now, look, a lot of you right now.
Whoa, where did his background go? Where,
I
come
were
on,
like,
TikTok it
bro,
up,
this is so stupid. Why are you being such a pussy? Just let it happen. Look, doesn't bother me, right? It really doesn't.
It doesn't bother me, but you wrote right after the fact, this is criminal. Here's the statute. You're gang banging me. You're cyber crapping me. You're cyber cocking me. I'm gonna make up words for this. I did put on there. He's like, you can't gang stalk and whatever, and I'm like, gang banging is legal in gang banging is legal in Texas, dude. I don't know what you're talking about.
But imagine how many people they do this to, and imagine how many people that are in these little tower groups take it a little bit too far, or some.
Sure. That can happen. And you know what? I'm not responsible for you, but he's going to, let me guess, you're going to say you're not one of those people that you could take it too far against, but then you
take
do.
A lot too far. It's organized stalking, you fucking idiot.
It's
right?
not.
If they go after a fucking 12-year-old, 15-year-old little girl with emotional problems that's suicidal. And
okay, now, look, in his defense, we did go after an emotional girl with suicidal thoughts. Yeah, I get it, okay? We're right. When I say we, none of this means we. I'm just talking in the general we, right? I may or may not have had anything to do with it. I may or may not have had any advice to maybe Clint or Josie from a legal perspective. Maybe.
And they just start fucking bam, 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 bam. And she just goes, fuck it. Right? That's why it's a problem. Which is why I replied to the fucking idiot that told them all to do it. Gang stalking is against the X terms of service and a criminal offense under Texas Penal Code 42.07 and 42.
I don't mind, but I'm going to. What a Karen! I'm sorry. This is a Karen fit. Karen, Miss Karen Patriot.
7-2. I live in Texas. This was not a threat of a lawsuit. In fact,
by the way, can we have a discussion about the downfall of Texas? I mean, this guy represents your state, people. This is the representation. He can't even. He has to have the phone turned backwards because he's a child. Look at mine. It says San Diego. You can read it. Why? Because I'm an adult.
In fact, me saying anybody may be held liable or criminal or blah, 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 also not a threat of a lawsuit.
He's talked about a lot. He just said he is. And by the way, we'll get to it.
Right? It's just me delivering you common sense.
No, you're not, because
legal information. So what's really happening is this fucking pussy. He wanted to start talking shit about me without naming me directly. I clapped back at him like I do. Then he was like, fuck it, let's do it again. Then he realized, oh shit, I probably shouldn't debate this guy because he's fucking smarter than me. And now he's bitching out again and using some bullshit excuse that I'm going to sue him. Look, here's the deal. The reason I'm going to sue Andrew Tate is because he's using 11 million followers to try to tarnish my name and spread clear-cut defamatory lies about me.
What is he saying about you? Now I'm curious. And your name, Miss Patriot, that is the name that you're so worried about?
And if you are a Tate simp and you are retaliating on his behalf, I don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe you might be named in a lawsuit.
Okay. I mean, this guy, the thoughts that go out of his mind are incredible. So 419, let's go back here just a little bit.
And now he's bitching out again and using some bullshit excuse that I'm gonna sue him. Look.
Okay, and now we go up to here that I'm going to sue him, which he says I'm not going to do. And now
what's going to happen? Maybe you might be named in a lawsuit. I don't know.
This is your typical situation. Okay, you're out there, you're dating a girl, you go to bed with her, and then she goes and she's a little crazy. Okay, she's in your DMs the next morning. She's saying all kinds of stuff. And you're like, I don't really want anything to do with you. And she's like, I may or may not be pregnant with your child. Maybe you should do, and you know, as a threat. And you're like, you know what? I'm out of here. I don't want anything to do with you. And she's like, why are you coming at me? You think I'm crazy? Oh, that's ridiculous. I didn't say I had a child with you. It's like, I didn't say you raped me, but maybe you did. And it's like, oh my God. I don't want anything to do with this. This is why I blocked this motherfucker. Now I kept having to unblock him because Josie kept sending me stuff like, oh my God, look at this freak out. And I'm like, okay, now I got to go look. It's just easier to unblock. And then I wanted to make a fucking comment. And you know, the real thing is you block people like this so that they don't report you, but the block doesn't mean as much as it used to. So you have to do this. So yeah, my advice, and Clint's like, I'm out. And I'm like, and then, you know, you don't want to make it look like a pussy move, right? So you just say, counsel advised. Or maybe you say this. Maybe you say, counsel advised me not to. And I would say that. And I did. Don't even engage in a debate with this guy. He is threatening to sue. He's threatening to add you to a lawsuit that's frivolous. But you still have to then defend it in a sense. You know, you probably get a motion to dismiss on it, not a problem. But it's ridiculous. Why put yourself into, just don't have any conversations with this loser. It's a grift. It's a chance to do whatever. I don't know. It looks like he might have eyeliner on. I could be wrong. It's just my opinion. It's hard to tell.
Right? Like, but here's a good rule of thumb. Don't do illegal shit on the internet. Right? This is why I'm not worried. This is why I can be totally transparent about the strategy that I use to bait and troll people. Trolling's not illegal. Baiting.
Okay. Do you think what Tower Gang was doing was a troll or was it gang stalking? No judge is going to get you for gang stalking for doing something that Rumble allows you to do, which is, now what Top did elsewise, we won't talk about, but putting a link and going, raid this guy's channel. It made your viewers go up. You might have got additional money that night because of it. Have you thought about that?
Fucking people's not illegal. All right? If you are...
Did he just say fucking people's not illegal? I agree.
...are triggered by something that I say about you, and then you commit a criminal or civil act against me that can result in a fucking lawsuit or an arrest, you're the fucking idiot, not me.
Right, but no one's doing that because you don't understand the law. When you're in prison and you get to read a few statutes, it doesn't mean that you then get to interpret everything in your favor, okay? There's a reality out there, right? Yes, maybe a law school graduate or a law school student told you this is illegal. Someone coming into your chat is illegal. It's not gonna happen, okay? It's just not gonna happen.
All right? I can literally, I can sit here all fucking day and debate people about this because I have been canceled more than any person on the internet.
Not enough, evidently. Folks, evidently he's not been canceled enough. I've never heard of this guy before. Miss Patriot?
This isn't some trick. I'm trying to fucking educate you people on how to be decent. All right? Right? Stop the gang stalking and the stupid bullshit fucking targeted harassment because... First of all, it's fucking gross. Second of all, it's fucking childish. Third of all, you're fucking pretending to be conservative, so you're making me fucking look bad because I'm...
No, they're not conservative. No one's pretending to be. This is what's great. This guy, and this is beneficial for all of us to watch, which is I think we've grown past these labels, right? We're not Jewish. We're not, I don't know why that's the first one. We're not MAGA, we're not conservative or whatever, right? Because when you go there, you end up having to take in everything that party or that MAGA. Now he's going to say there's people in this group that aren't, representative to what I am. Well, I wouldn't want to be representative to what you are, but you're taking in everything that everything is binary, right? You're either, I said something about Tate, so you must be against Tate, and that's why you're going to do this. Good luck. There's nothing that, I think Tate's disgusting. I think Clint was kind of out there. Top seemed to have a boner for him only because everyone else was against him. Cole is a degenerate. So, there's Tower Gang. So there was mixed feelings on it all, right? No one that's not what it was about. It was the fact that Clint got a chance to go on Piers, turned it down, said loser, because he didn't know who he was talking to, but obviously the other person would be a loser to argue with him. And then you assumed it was you, and then we made fun of it, okay? Because by the way, defamation is gonna be difficult for multiple reasons. One, you might have it with Tate when you went after him, and then if he says some things that are just egregiously incorrect. But you're a public person. Part of the definition and the breakthrough on defamation is it a public person or not? And if you're as a public person, the standard has to be malice, not Michael, but just pure malice, okay? And if it's and it has to be shown that it was done in malice specifically for them to get over this thing. Now you look at Johnny Depp and you can say, yeah, it looks like it was obviously malice. Her saying that you were abusing her when you weren't. Okay, so I don't know if you would have that. I don't know what Tate even said about you. Okay, the rumor is that there was a criminal that this guy had beat some older people, maybe his parent. I'm just saying what I've heard out there. I don't know if it's true. Please, if someone's just repeating that or putting your criminal charges online, then that's not defamation, and truth is the ultimate defense. And if they are defaming you, that sucks, okay? But as a libertarian-ish, I don't believe in defamation. So, you're not going to get my sympathy on that
Standing next to you. The thing that I do the most on the internet, people want to know.
What is it? Do we want to know, people? Do we want to know what he does the most on the internet? Raise your hand out there if you want to know. I'm a little worried what he's going to admit to right now. I'm a little worried, and it might go back to his other thing.
What the fuck actually is this page about? It's about calling out my own side so we don't end up like the fucking Democrats in 2020 losing because the most creepy and fucking radical people in the political space started just shitting all over the fucking carpet, and we didn't clean it up because they were doing it in a fucking MAGA hat.
Okay, I don't fucking care about the MAGA hat. This guy lost his shit. Okay, he lost his shit. Oh, but we want to go back through this because this is the kind of research and debate he would have put up. So Clint says, "Dear Mr. Patriot." Now, that is misnaming him. His name is Misfit Patriot. And you don't have to say someone's middle name. Just say, "Dear Miss Patriot." That's just all you have to do, Clint. I know you think eventually I'll quote to you to give you engagement so you desperately seek. It will never happen. Please continue your meltdowns and legal threats over nothing. It's making you look super cool and heterosexual. Dear Clint. You're the one who turned down 2 debates while I went on Piers and argued my points to a wider audience. This is but see, this guy lives in his own head. He doesn't understand. And I think Clint made it fair in his first one. He's like, this is not a case I want to take on. Clint he turned it down, not because he was going to go up against this one, because he's like, dude, this is the topic you give me? This is the topic? This is ridiculous. Okay, I don't need your clout, Bubba. If Josie wasn't the one who asked, I probably wouldn't have even bothered saying yes. Just admit you pussied out and stop pretending I threatened you. Remember, he didn't reply for a few days. Okay, this was a few days in. Wednesday's the Tower Gang, and I don't think Josie told me till Wednesday. I think it was Thursday evening. She's like, oh, finally something came out. So he wasn't even responding. You threatened illegal action. Clinton says you threatened legal action, not once, not twice, but 3 times because my fans raided your stream with his fans. I mean, should we take a guess here online about whether were those Clint's fans? Were they Tops fans? Toads fans? I mean, some of you might hate them all. I don't know. This is a pretty broad statement. This might be the most questionable part of Clint's whole thing, whatever. You threatened, raided your stream. Why would I volunteer to end your non-career via a debate? I'm not interested in your frivolous lawsuits. Find someone else to clout chase off of. I'm not the one. Also, you're obese. Okay, let's. I want to get a better view of this. Okay, so this is then what Clint quotes here, or shows the thing. Why am I not being able to see the whole bit? I'll read it to you. This guy puts, so then Clint screenshotted these and he's like, then post shit on your own timeline and stop gang stalking and spamming others, retard. You fucking moron don't even realize what you're doing is illegal. Most people get away with it. But this time you fucked up because this is going to be connected to a legal proceeding. Yes, because you are threatening lawsuits. It's not just idle. You're saying it's going to connect to a legal proceeding. Go fuck yourself, okay? Listen to me very carefully because I'm trying to help you knock this shit off and stop acting like fucking children. Okay, that's part you can see on there, but that's what he had said, and that's what gang stalking is against X terms of service and criminal offense under Texas Penal Code 4207 and 42072. Okay. So that's what he said there. Should we look at some of this chat? Reasonably intelligent people can hear someone talk for 30 seconds and tell if that person is notably smart. This person is not, says Alan. I bet he's a solid 150 IQ. Once again, you're coming through fine on chat with Twitter and Rumble. Magoo says, sound like a sober Ethan Ross. By the way, I'm sorry over there. Over there on YouTube, your chat's not coming through, so you might need to go over to the other. So Magoo's in here, Laney's in here, David Moore's in here. Beard Bros have to cut it off if they have no jawline. Yeah, it's a weird look. Look, I'm not going to necessarily go after someone for their looks. This is what you get when you come in here. Andy used to be my co-host until he decided to get useful, a job, a wife, and have another child. But he used to mock my looks all the time. And you know what? It's perfectly fine. I'm not... Who's great out there? I was going to say George Michael, who, by the way, is a gorgeous man, also homosexual and dead. But, that's not me. I don't think I'm horrible. I've been able to get chicks if I tried real hard. Not the worst. So I don't really want to go after someone for their looks. If they bring it up and they try to make a big issue about it, then yeah, then it's all fun and games. But I do not like that when people, as an example, I don't think he's a ugly man. He's not good looking to me at all. I don't like that look, that beard. He's trying to make it Jack out there, like Jack Murphy or whatever. So, it's just a weird thing to do. And I don't think he's necessarily attractive. I'm a straight heterosexual man too. So that's part of the problem. But if the problem is you get ugly people that then work this guy over for his looks, and they're like, come on, people, it can only come back to haunt you. But so you got to argue in your ways. So yes, he's not attractive. I get it, people. I don't know why I keep going on over and over about this one. Do we have anything else here? Gang stalking. Okay, so he said that. Why are you posting 24/7 about another guy? Weird. This is Miss Patriot was doing this over Andrew Tate. Yeah, so he's gang stalking. He's gang stalking Andrew Tate. Okay, and it's disturbing. It's not healthy. It's not healthy to do, young man. So maybe you shouldn't keep doing that. I'm getting details in my DMs about stuff. Okay, should we look at the Texas Penal Code? A person who commits an offense if, when intent to harass, annoy, alarm, abuse, torment, or embarrass another person, 1, initiates communication. In a course of the communication, makes a comment, request, suggestion, or proposal that is obscene. Okay, look, maybe I should read this for the Tower Gang before the show, just so we all understand, okay? Threatens in a manner reasonably likely to alarm the person receiving the threat, to inflict bodily injury on the person, okay, that's not it, or commit a felony against the person, not a problem, a member of the person's family. I thought this guy said he was going to go have sex with someone's mom. Let's look at here. Let's look at Misfit Patriot. I thought he said he was literally going to go and have sex with someone's mom. I swear to God, that's what he said the other day. I'm looking through. Maybe I shouldn't put it up there while I do it. Okay, maybe you guys can go find it and put it in there. But I swear to God, he put on there the other day that he was going to go have sex with someone's mom. That's what something about that. It was bizarre. I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to give me a few minutes here. Okay. Here we go. I think I found it. I repeat, if any one of you pull this shit on me, you better change your sheets. I'm done when I'm done plugging your mom in your race car bed. I will find. Okay. Let me. Should we do this right here? Let's go. Maybe we take a screenshot of this Texas Penal Code. Family or household of person's property. Yeah. Okay. I think we'll end up highlighting this little section, and then we'll post that to him right there. So let me just send this to my photos, and we'll be done with that. So let's keep going. Causes the telephone of another to ring repeatedly or makes repeated telephone communications anonymously. I mean, I don't think this is probably a misdemeanor of just harassment. I mean, this is just part of the penal code for harassment. Yeah, so you're gonna have to file a restraining order, domestic violence restraining order perhaps, or a civil restraining order, and put that in there. Gay misfit, Miss Gaytriot, MILF fetish confirmed. Yeah, I know Bob Murphy. Who's Jack? Well, Bob's not jacked. Okay, I'm a heterosexual man. That's part of the problem. That's how they're trying out for. Right. Misdemeanor patriot. So the only thing I was going to say, a little bit of stuff. So there's this kid that's on campus. We're not going to really talk about it too much. I talked about Leo Frank because I really, I'm a friend out here. I think it's Pseudo Snark. If you're coming in the chat at all, you might want to check out my playlist. And I've got a playlist, and one of them is the Leo Frank. I really encourage you guys to go check that out. I look back at it. So what happened is I had done a deep dive on this case years ago, and then I started doing more work on it, and I started to do an intro show, and I did one myself. And then I had Pete Quinones on my show, and he's like, hey, I saw that. Why don't you come on my show, and we'll do more of it? And I was like, perfect, because he had already been a person that had a lot of info about this. So I went on there, and we did it, and then I started reading back into it to get more juiced up. I started reading more about this, and I did so much work between episode 1 with him, which would be episode 2 I had, to episode 4, which was the third one with Pete, that I'm like, some of it I was like, okay, I made mistakes early on. And what I should really do is go back, and I think I did a fine job of setting up the whole premise. But what would be interesting would be just the appeals portion, the appeals and the Supreme Court, getting into that a little bit more. There's some really good conspiracy theories things about the Knights of Mary Fagan that turned into the KKK. And it's a fascinating case. And it is, like I just said, it's so obvious that he is guilty. And the fact that this is what gets me about like this guy, the tribe shit, right? Which is you're so ingrained in your tribe that if you push back and anything your tribe does wrong, it is imputed on you. Now, it's literally the definition of anti-Semitism, which is saying that a specific one Jew is now equated to the entire Jewish population, okay? And no one's saying that about Leo Frank, are we? But you do it in the reverse, which is, okay, we can't have one Jew that has a bad thing about him. Matter of fact, we're going to go to the lengths, the ends of the earth to try to defend this. And it's real easy to just go, look, this guy was a creep, okay? It doesn't mean that everyone else in that community is a creep, that this guy is a creep. But it makes now the fact that you're trying to defend it, Andrew Clavin, anybody ADL, anybody out there to trying to defend Leo Frank, it makes you suspect, right? And it's like, okay, whoa. Either maybe you got something going on in your own world, or you just can't have the truth come out because maybe it's going to spread out further. Is that what you're worried about? Well, that's ridiculous. You know, each person in their own. Anyway, Tower Gang NPC, hi Magoo, thank you guys for coming in. I think that's it. I might be doing another show this. I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed this Misfit Patriot stuff. I hope you guys did as well. This is disturbing here. Let's also take a screenshot of this one, and then we'll say it was because his buddy was being swatted. I mean, that sucks. You know, no swatting people. I hope it's not self-swatting. that would be bad. Okay, maybe we'll figure this stuff out. Maybe I'll do another show this weekend. I don't know. Just sign up to the show. Get your notifications going on. I do appreciate the Rumble coming in here loud and clear. Northside said, Jack Murphy is a famous internet cuckold who made it on Tim Pool before accidentally getting super angry at Sidney Watson in Elijah Schaefer's podcast. Absolutely. And here's my take on that. Then Sidney Watson then, with the Blaze, files a lawsuit for wrongful termination or whatever, an unworkable workspace or whatever against Elijah Schaefer, or actually it wasn't against him. I think it was, she named him in there, but against the Blaze. And what's his name? Not Cernovich. It's the other loser that's similar to him. Did the lawsuit. I should look into see what happened with that. I don't know if it went away. It was pathetically done. And the response was really made her look like a piece of shit. Now, what's interesting is Northside points this out, and you're like, yeah, you got Jack Murphy, who's a complete trash. Sidney Watson did in Elijah, but then with her whole thing, it's just like, I wasn't a fan of her. I'm not a fan of him. Elijah's better than the rest, I guess. But then is he gay? I don't know. There's a lot of problems out there. Then Rekieta made fun of him a bunch for being cuck before it being revealed that Rekieta himself is a cuck. Yes, you've got to watch out for that. Oh, wow. I can't believe the ADL is exactly who we thought they were. I love LPR, says Ron. I'll leave a nice comment on Spotify. Thanks, guys. Yeah, we're on Spotify. We're on all the platforms, so I do put these up from that. And Alan, I'm going to just tell you right now, I'm going to take my portion and I'm going to make some shorts. So if you go over to YouTube, I've been doing some shorts over there. They've been doing fairly well. What about Pasobic there, JC? You say on YouTube here, Pasobic? Question mark. Pasobiec? What about him? What do you want me to say about him? Is he a cuck too? I don't know. Not a fan of his. Okay, everybody. Thank you. I got a different outro. It's one I made for Top Lobster, y'all. Let's get some outro music here. Sorry. I could hang out longer. And just chill with you guys. But my wife's downstairs. We got an update before we do this. We got this dog. Last week I was redoing the chicken fence. I'm making a bigger area for him. We went to the store, got supplies, come back. This dog that's deaf, it's a like 80-pound dog my daughter found, had a chicken just demolishing it in the living room, feathers everywhere. And my wife was devastated. And so I had to pick this chicken up. I put it in the trash. Typically I bury them. And I'm just like, just put it in the trash. Shouldn't have been flying over the fence. So we're trying to figure out what to do with this dog. Then my wife puts it on like some chat, to get this. And then you get these animal activists. They are pieces of shit, people. I don't know what to say, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. We will see you next week. Goodbye.
Things are going to start happening.
They're leaving now, guys.
But she's back.
And now.
Tyler, if you had any clout about you, if you had any knowledge of the real world of what happens, we walk into Tim Catt's studio, immediately there's 4 Jewish lawyers.
King of the Druids!
Oh, that's all we needed. A Jewish princess.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't expect the normies like Tyler to understand these kind of things. He's just a podunk lawyer somewhere in rural California. He's an idiot, really.
Takes a tough man to make a tender forecast, Nick. I guess that's me. Keep fucking that chicken.
This guy's, I wouldn't say he's full of shit, but I'd say he's stupid. Whatever, if you're in the comments, if you're in the chat now, I wouldn't pay attention to anything he says anyway. But
more or less, eat shit and die.
Don't ever come to Top Lobster. He will end you. Do you see what he just did to Tyler? Just fucking challenge this.
Tyler's done.
Top is a maniac.
He can't even reply right now because he's crippled.
He's got nothing to say.
What are you talking about? I didn't say that. Why don't you argue with something I said, you dumb bastard?